One type of photography I really enjoy is multiple exposure photography, but not all cameras can do that. The Fuji, every time you took a photo, you had to OK the results. The Nikon was great because that would just let you shoot 7 images with just slight recomposition within the image itself. But not all cameras allow you to do that. So there is a small trick that you can do. And also with this trick, what you can do is, if you only take one image, but you want to see what it would have been like as a multiple exposure, this is the way that you can do it. So here we are in Photoshop, and what we're going to do is we're going to select the background layer, and we're going to press Control or Command J. I'm going to go for 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gives me 6 copies plus my base layer. On the top layer, I'm just going to go Command or Control T, which is free transform, and I'm just going to rotate it and move it slightly. And then in each layer underneath that, Control and Command T, and move them again. So you just go through this. You're not seeing any difference at all, because that is the best way, I think, of doing this, because we don't have the control in camera either. So I think it's actually quite nice to lose control here and just give it up totally to the computer. And last but not least, Control or Command T, and then let's just move that one up. So I can't see any difference here, but if you look here in the layers, you'll see that there is slight differences. How much? I don't know until I see the final image. Next, what I'm going to do, select the top layer, select the bottom layer, as in the first one that I copied up, not the background layer, and then go into my layer blending mode, and I'm just going to choose screen. Now at this stage, it looks terrible because it's a screen blending mode. But what you do now is you get into layer and you go smart objects, convert to smart objects. Now I could do that by right clicking on the layer itself, but it's so that you learn the path for this that I'm doing it this way. So we now have that layer 1 copy, and it's a smart object, as you can see by that icon. The next thing we do is we go back into layer, smart objects, go all the way down to the bottom to stack mode, and choose mean, and let Photoshop do its thing. And there you go, that is it. That's a quick and simple way of creating multiple exposure from one image. Now we can take that a step further with this, and what we can do is copy that layer up. So I've selected that layer and go J, which copies the layer up. I am then going to go for a blend mode. Let's go for overlay. And then I'm going to move that to the side or up slightly. And then I'm going to turn the opacity down. So I'm adding more depth to that. We've already created 6 layers here, so we've now added another 6 in there. Now that might be too much for some. It just depends what you want, and you can continue from here. I'm just dropping down some of the fill here. So if I take the fill right out and then push the fill right up, you can see just that slight difference. So the fill's just disabling some of the colour and the deeper tones in this style of image. Now we've got even further control here if you don't like the finished results. But if you think, if you shot this in camera and you were quite happy with it, that would be it done. When you're doing it this way, you have a little bit more control, and let me show you. This is a smart object here. So if I double click on that icon, it opens up a new document, which is this document here, before we turned it into a smart object. So what I can do is I can select any layer and just go in and move them. And let's just rotate that one. And go into that one, just move it, maybe push it that way. This one, push it that way. That one there, let's just raise it up. And then you go File, Save. And you let Photoshop do its thing, saving it. Once it's saved, you can close it. Go back to your image, and what it's done is it's updated any movements within this. So there we go, there's the original image. There. And then we've added that one. Take that one off, And there's the original. So that's how you can create multiple exposure using Photoshop in any of your editing software. In this case, it's Photoshop. If you're planning on doing this a lot, I've already got an action set up for this, so I'll just show you how the action works. I am going to delete that layer, and I'm going to delete that layer. I'm going to go through the entire process again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm just going to move every single one of these again so that this image that I get this time will be completely different again. Control T and Control T. I'm selecting a new layer each time and I'm either rotating it or moving it just slightly for this. And let's just move that one out so that you can see the difference. Once I've done that, I select all these, hold down Shift, and I have an action already created. And I've called it raster mean stack. So what that'll do is that'll convert these layers to a smart object, same as over here, layer, create smart object, and then it will set the stack mode. And the stack mode I have set is mean. So if I just click that and hit play, and there you go, there's the image there. All I have to do now is crop the image to what I want, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And again, it's already created, Command and J, and I can go into screen mode or overlay, slightly darker. I'm going to pull back that slightly, 63. I'm going to pull back the fill layer, and let's just take that back to overlay. And I'm just going to pull the fill layer back slightly. There we go. So that should draw down the intensity. So that's how I do it for any of my images as well. Now this works for any images at all, and it's fun to try, it's fun to play around with. Personally, I wouldn't get too pernickety with it because then you lose the effect of what you would have originally taken with your camera. Hopefully you get something from that, and hopefully it just lets you see that you can do this technique even with a single image. It's good to learn, and in the process you learn about smart objects and how they work as well. You can try different blend modes if you add different layers, or if you bulk up the layers, you can try different blend modes, layer blend modes, just to see how it works as well. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.